We'll be dividing this video into two parts. In today's discussion, we will be focusing about what is nutrition, what are nutrients, what are the modes of nutrition, and autotrophic nutrition in detail. In our next video, we will look on to heterotrophic nutrition in detail. To begin with, what is nutrition? Nutrition is a process by which organisms takes food and utilizes it. What is the need for nutrition? Organisms need the energy to perform various activities. The energy is supplied by the nutrients. Organisms need various raw materials for growth and repair. These raw materials are provided by nutrients. So, what are nutrients? Nutrients are materials which provide nutrition to the organisms. Nutrients are of two types, macronutrients and micronutrients. What are macronutrients? Carbohydrates, proteins and fats are the main nutrients, and these are termed as macronutrients. Minerals and vitamins require in small amounts, and hence they are termed as micronutrients. So, what are the modes of nutrition? Nutrition can be autotrophic or heterotrophic. Autotrophic nutrition involves all green plants. Heterotrophic nutrition involves animals, man and non-green plants. This nutrition is further divided into saprophytic nutrition, parasitic nutrition and Holozoic nutrition. As I have already told, we'll be discussing about heterotrophic nutrition in our next video. We'll be focusing about autotrophic nutrition in today's video. Autotrophic nutrition. The mode of nutrition in which an organism prepares its own food is termed autotrophic nutrition. The mode of nutrition in which an organism prepares its own food is termed as autotrophic nutrition. Green plants and blue-green algae follow the autotrophic mode of nutrition. The organisms which carry out autotrophic nutrition are termed as autotrophs or the green plants. Autotrophic nutrition is fulfilled by the process by which autotrophs take carbon dioxide and water and convert them into carbohydrates in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. This process is termed as photosynthesis. Reaction goes on like this. Carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll gets converted into sugars and releases oxygen. This is the equation for photosynthesis. Nutrition in plants. Green plants prepare their own food. They make food in the presence of sunlight. Sunlight provides energy, whereas carbon dioxide and water are the raw materials, and chloroplast is the site where the food is made. What is photosynthesis? The process by which green plants prepare food is termed as photosynthesis. During this process, the solar energy is converted into chemical energy and carbohydrates are formed. Green leaves are the main site of photosynthesis. The green portion of the plant contains the pigment chloroplast called the chlorophyll. The whole process of photosynthesis is shown by the following equation. Carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll gets converted into a carbohydrate, glucose, and releases oxygen. Raw materials for photosynthesis: sunlight, chlorophyll. Sunlight is absorbed by the chloroplast. Carbon dioxide. This enters through the stomata and oxygen is released as a byproduct through the stomata on the leaf. Water and dissolved minerals like nitrogen, phosphorus, etc. are taken up by the roots from the soil. How do raw materials for photosynthesis become available to the plant? Water comes from the soil through the xylem tissue in roots and stems. Carbon dioxide comes in the leaf through stomata, the site of photosynthesis. The chloroplast in the leaf is the site of photosynthesis. Chloroplast contains green pigment termed chlorophyll. What are the main events of photosynthesis? Absorption of light energy by chlorophyll, conversion of light energy into chemical energy, and splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen. Reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. Sunlight activates chlorophyll, which leads to the splitting of the water molecule. The hydrogen released by the splitting of water molecule is utilized for the reduction of carbon dioxide to produce carbohydrates. Oxygen is the byproduct of photosynthesis. Carbohydrates is subsequently converted into starch and is stored in the leaves and other storage parts. The splitting of water molecules is a part of the light reaction. Stomata. These are tiny pores present in the epidermis of the leaf or stem through which gaseous exchange and transpiration can occur. What is the function of stomata? These exchange gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide. This stomata loses a large number of water or water vapor during transpiration. This is the structure of stomata. The subsidiary cells, the guard cell, the chloroplast, the stomatal pore, and the nucleus. Opening and closing of stomatal pores. The opening and closing of stomatal pores are controlled by the turgidity of guard cells. When guard cells uptake water from the surrounding cells, they swell to become a turgid body, which enlarges the pore in between. While when water is released, they become flaccid, shrinking close to the stomatal pore. This is termed as stomatal closing. To our last topic, what is the significance of photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is the main way through which solar energy is made available for different living beings. Green plants are the main producers of food in the ecosystem. All other organisms directly or indirectly depend on green plants for food. The process of photosynthesis also helps in maintaining the balance of carbon dioxide and oxygen in the air. In our previous video, that mode of nutrition can be divided into autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophic nutrition mainly takes place in green plants. So coming to our today's discussion on heterotrophic nutrition. Heterotrophic nutrition is a mode of nutrition in which an organism takes fruit from another organism. Organisms other than green plants and blue-green algae follow heterotrophic mode of nutrition. This mode of nutrition can be further divided into saprophytic, holozoic, and parasitic nutrition. Now, let's have a look onto what is saprophytic, holozoic, and parasitic nutrition. Saprophytic nutrition. In saprophytic nutrition, the organism secretes the digestive juices on the food. The food is digested while it is still to be ingested. The digested food is then ingested by organism. All the decomposers follow saprophytic mode of nutrition. Some insects like houseflies also follow this mode of nutrition. Now, what is Holozoic nutrition? Holozoic nutrition. The digestion happens inside the body of the organism such that after the food is ingested, most of the animals follow this mode of nutrition. What is parasitic nutrition? The organism which lives inside or outside another organism and host and derives nutrition from it is known as a parasite, and this type of nutrition is termed as parasitic nutrition. For example, cuscuta. Before we get into this, let's first know what are the steps in Holozoic mode of nutrition. Holozoic mode of nutrition contains 5 steps: ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. What is ingestion? Ingestion is the process of taking in the food. Now, what is ingestion? Ingestion is the process of taking in the food. What is digestion? Digestion is the process of breaking complex food substances into simpler molecules. Simple molecules thus obtained can be absorbed by the body. So, what is absorption? Absorption is the process of absorbing the digested food. Now coming to assimilation. What is assimilation? Assimilation is the process of utilization of digested food for energy, growth, and repair. Finally, what is egestion? Egestion is the process of removing undigested food from the body. Now let's look into amoeba. Amoeba is a unicellular animal which follows Holozoic mode of nutrition. In Holozoic nutrition, the digestion of food follows after the ingestion of food. Thus, digestion takes place inside the body of the organism. We all know that Holozoic nutrition has 5 steps. The same applies for nutrition in amoeba too. Coming to amoeba. The cell membrane of amoeba keeps on protruding into the pseudopodia. Amoeba surrounds a food particle with the pseudopodia and makes a food vacuole. The food vacuole contains food particles and water. Digestive enzymes are secreted in the food vacuole and digestion takes place. After that, digested food is absorbed from the food vacuole. Finally, the food vacuole moves near the cell membrane and undigested food is expelled out. So, amoeba also follows Holozoic mode of nutrition, which include 5 steps starting right from ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation to the last one, egestion. That's all. We have completed our discussion on heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Holozoic mode of nutrition will be dealt in detail as a separate discussion in our upcoming process. As we have already looked into the digestion and mode of nutrition in plants, today we'll be dealing about transportation and excretion in plants. If you haven't watched our video on digestion and mode of nutrition of plants, I'll put up the link in the description box. Please don't forget to watch it. Moving to today's first topic of discussion, transportation in plants. Plants have a specialized vascular tissues for transportation of substances. There are 2 types of vascular tissues in plants. Therefore, transportation in plants occurs either through the xylem tissue or the phloem tissue. Now let's discuss about xylem and phloem in detail. Xylem is responsible for transportation of water and minerals. It is composed of tracheids, xylem vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. Tracheids and xylem vessels are the conducting elements. The xylem makes a continuous tube in plants which runs from roots to stem and right up to the veins of the leaves. These carry water and minerals from the leaves to the other parts of the plant. Now, what is phloem? Phloem is responsible for transportation of food. Phloem is composed of sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and bast fibers. Sieve tubes are the conducting elements in phloem, and these carries products of photosynthesis from roots to the other parts of the plant. To summarize, what's the difference between xylem and phloem? Xylem, responsible for transportation of water and minerals, carry water and minerals from the leaves to the other parts of the plant. Phloem, responsible for transportation of food, carries product of photosynthesis from roots to the other parts of the plant. Now, what are the compositions? Composition of xylem, tracheids, xylem vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. Coming to phloem, These are sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and bast fibers. Now, which is the conducting element in xylem? Xylem's conducting elements are the tracheids and the xylem vessels, whereas in your phloem, sieve tubes are the conducting elements. Now, what is ascent of sap? The upward movement of water and minerals from roots to different parts of the plant is called as ascent of sap. Many factors play an important role in the ascent of sap, and it takes place in many steps. Root pressure. The walls of the cells of root hairs are very thin. Water from soil enters the root hairs because of osmosis. Root pressure is responsible for the movement of water up to the base of the stem. Capillary action. A very fine tube is called capillary. Water or any liquid rises in the capillary because of physical forces, and this phenomenon is termed as capillary action. Water in the stem rises up to some height because of capillary action. Adhesion and cohesion of water molecules. Water molecules make a continuous column in the xylem because of forces of adhesion and cohesion among the molecules. Transpiration pull. Loss of water vapor through the stomata and lenticles in plants is called as transpiration. Transpiration through stomata creates vacuum, which creates a suction called transpiration pull. The transpiration pull sucks the water column from the xylem tubes, and thus water is able to rise great heights in even the tallest plants. Now coming to transport of food. Transport of food in plants happens because of utilization of energy. Thus, unlike the transport through xylem, it is a form of active transport. Moreover, the flow of substances from phloem takes place in both directions, such that it is a two-way traffic in phloem. Transpiration is the process of loss of water as vapor from aerial parts of the plant. Moving on to our next topic for today, excretion in plants. Plants excrete some waste into the soil around them. Other waste may be stored in leaves, barks, etc., which falls off from the plant. For example, gums and resin are stored in the old xylem. Some metabolic waste in the form of crystals of calcium oxalates in the leaves of colocasia and stems of zamicant. Now let's have a quick recap. Transportation in plants occur through specialized vascular tissues, xylem and phloem. So xylem is responsible for transportation of water and minerals, and these carry water and minerals from the leaves to the other parts of the plant, whereas phloem is responsible for transportation of food, and these carries products of photosynthesis from roots to the other parts of the plant. So now what are the composition of xylem? Xylem is composed of tracheids, xylem vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber, whereas phloem is composed of sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and bast fibers. Now, which is the conducting element in xylem and phloem? Xylem's conducting elements are tracheids and xylem vessels, whereas in phloem, sieve tubes are the conducting elements. Now, what is ascent of sap? The upward movement of water and minerals from roots to different parts of the plant is called ascent of sap. These are dependent on different factors like root pressure, capillary action, adhesion and cohesion of water molecules, and the transpiration pull. Now coming to the transportation of food. Transportation of food mainly happens because of utilization of energy, and this transport of food is an active transport, and this is also a two-way traffic. This takes place in the phloem. Now what is transpiration? It is a process of loss of water as vapor from the aerial parts of the plant. Coming to excretion in plants. Excretion in plants. Now coming to excretion in plants. Excretion in plants. Some plants may excrete into the soil around them, whereas some will be stored in the leaves and barks and it will fall off from the plant. For example, gums and resins are stored in old xylem. That's all for for today. Hope it was easy to understand. Let's meet again with another topic of discussion. Until then, bye-bye. If you haven't watched our video on digestion and mode of nutrition of plants, I'll put up the link in the description box. Please don't forget to watch it. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to our channel. After subscribing, don't forget to press the bell icon to receive notifications when we upload a video.